Hello.
Hello.
Hi. How's your Thursday?
Pretty good. It's been kind of weird. I almost could have worked from home today. I only had one person in person, and the whole rest of the day I've been talking to the computer.
Sounds boring.
It is kind of boring. I'm used to having kiddos in here and playing games and doing stuff, and for some reason, it just worked out that way that everyone had to do something. So the neighbors are noisy and it's a little chaotic. So I guess it's okay.
Good stuff.
But it does make you feel just a little bit more like, I don't know, not tired, but like I'm not getting up and doing stuff like I usually am with kiddos and stuff. I've just kind of been sitting here all day. I almost could have been doing one of your YouTube shows. I've been talking to a screen for so long.
Yeah.
How was your week?
It was fine. I didn't do a whole lot of much, but
Were you able to get out and do anything while your daughter was still there?
yeah, a little bit.
Your goal. Nothing too far, obviously, but at least not just in the house.
Yeah. Went over to the park and fed some crows and some squirrels, and then I went out with Brett every day this week, the Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
Oh, okay. Like next week he goes on vacation?
Yeah, so I won't see him again until July.
Oh.
That first Monday of July, whatever that is, the 2nd or whatever. 3rd.
So you guys are making up for hours this week.
Yeah.
So did you get any more brave in like what you pushed yourself to do to see how it's going with the meds?
No.
I know you went to a field or whatever and you didn't feel as
Yeah, no. Like, I noticed that I'm not as nervous or whatever word you want to say, but no, I haven't pushed anything yet. But I did go, like I said, when I went to the park or whatever, I just noticed that I was just all around lower, anxiety levels.
Right. So probably feeling a little optimistic with the meds.
I don't know, maybe. I do. I don't know. I don't know how I think about it, because I don't try to create too much of a narrative with it, but at the same time, I'm like, are the meds supposed to heal me? And in reality, I would assume not. I still have to do the work at some point.
Right.
Which is stupid.
Yeah, it's supposed to take the edge off so that it's easier to do the work.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they haven't developed that magic fix-it-all yet.
Yeah. Well, they wouldn't want to do that anyways, because then they'd lose money.
This is fair. I guess I'd have to find a new job if everyone could just take a pill and everything's magically better.
Right. Or the Neuralink or whatever they want to do, where they put the link in your brain and it's the next evolutionary step for humans.
Oh. Haven't heard about that sci-fi.
Yeah. It's actually not too far off. I think they're actually doing some clinical runs on it or whatever. But
have we learned nothing from the movies? Because messing with that kind of stuff has never ended well.
Yeah, I know. Do you know anything about Greek mythology?
Very little, but a little bit.
So there's this guy named Prometheus, and Prometheus is a titan, and he created humans. And him and Zeus had a conversation, and Zeus did not want humans to have certain things, and one of them was fire. And you could think of fire as fire, or you could think of fire as a little bit more than just fire, like a will and like free agency kind of thing, And Zeus didn't want that. So after Prometheus invented the human out of sand and mud or whatever, he stole fire and brought it down to humans. And then he was punished. So he was chained to a mountain, and he was immortal, and every day an eagle like plucked out his liver or whatever, and every night it grew back, and then so he had to live through the pain of it every day. But anyways, and if you fast forward it, and we're right at this verge of an artificial intelligence, and so you've got people that are like Prometheus that are saying, hey, let's see what we can get out of this, like let's see how far this can go. And then you've got other people that are like Zeus and said, hey, let's not give them that, let's not give them free reign to do whatever they want. And so it's like, what side are you on? Because supposedly, humans turned away from the gods because the gods tried to control them. And so what's AI going to do if we're trying to control them? Yeah, anyway,
not sure.
Good stuff.
Depends on if we're in the movies or not.
Well, it's just funny, over millennia, nothing's changed. It's still the same story.
This is true. Those core struggles have kind of stayed the same. Speaking of core, I wanted to, I don't want to do, the full core beliefs exercise like I would do with someone who's never done any. But I kind of wanted to see, because I know you said there's some core beliefs that you've identified and really worked on, and then you said obviously there's some core beliefs that are still kind of sitting there not fully, I don't know if the word's resolved, so they've resolved completely, but there aren't ones that you feel like you've done that work on as much. So I was kind of hoping, I have the handout that's core beliefs about yourself, core beliefs about others in the world, and core beliefs about the future. And I thought maybe today I could get a little bit of a glimpse into what some of those are for you and kind of differentiate ones that you feel like you've really, really worked on already versus ones you want to still work on.
Right.
Does that make sense? Clear as mud?
Yeah. I mean, whatever. Go to work. Don't get me talking, though.
That's hard to do. Hard to not get you talking.
I know.
But, and it's okay if there's a little bit of talking too. I don't expect this to be the entire time. But, do you want to start with core beliefs that you've got about yourself or others in the world?
To be honest, I mean, to me, a core belief is something that's so in depth into who we are, like our psyche, that it's really hard to just say, yeah, this is my core belief. You almost have to go through and dig, and you keep poking at stuff until it stirs. You know what I'm talking about? I can say something, but do I truly believe it? On a core level? Because when I think of core beliefs, I think of what makes us think. We can't have a thought without a core belief. You know what I'm saying? Because the only way to have a thought is that your thought comes from a belief system. And then so what creates that thought is the core belief. And I probably had a good 17, mixed up, upside down, muddy ones for a while. We probably resolved, 10 of them, maybe 7 of them, maybe more, maybe less. And then as you keep digging, I always call it the wheel. And so when you are working with this stuff, I've noticed like you'll know what the problem is pretty quick, especially when you get to talking. It's very apparent. But there's so many layers of it that you can only go so deep each time. And so I consider it like a wheel, because you start like a clock or whatever, like, okay, the 1, is where our issue is. But if we don't do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we can't get to the 1. And then you start to hit it, and then something else pops up, like over at 7. And so now you go over to 7, but you've done a lot of work on 1, and then you realize that 7's an issue. So you get working on 7, and the next thing you know, you're back at 1, working on 1, and then now you're at 5, and then 4. You basically just have all these beliefs, and you can only erode the part that's there as you keep working your way down. So sometimes it feels like you're going backwards, because you're like, oh, I thought I did that, like I thought I already kind of worked that one out, but you only worked part of it out, or a piece of the issue out. Anyways, that's what I've noticed about therapy is, but like I said, I've been in it for so long that I've worn a lot of those issues down. But so I don't know what belief you want to work on.
I mean, I wasn't necessarily looking to start working on one today. I just kind of wanted to know what are some of the ones you do feel like you've identified and started to, even if it was just eroding a little, what were some of the ones you kind of have identified and been working on? And then if there's ones you've identified but haven't really made any progress on.
Right. I never wrote them down, because I always just had TR, doing the stuff, and he had like a list that we did. I think, like I said, I think there was like 17 of them or something that he had slowly written down over time that we went into, and most of those kind of bleed together. I always just try to break it down. Okay, now what's holding up those? Okay, let's go down a little bit further. Okay, what's holding up those? And then you kind of get to the bottom, and it's, I have an unrealistic fear of being by myself. And but that one's way better than it used to be. Meaning that I've eroded some of the belief, because I actually don't get upset when I'm by myself anymore. But I used to. But I didn't realize that I was. I had this giant umbrella of anxiety. So like if anything was anything, I just had anxiety. And so I never really got to go deep inside my own psyche, because it was just like, oh, that's anxiety. Instead of going, I'm having anxiety because of, or I'm having, because anxiety to me was just, or for everybody, it's just a tool. And so it stops me from feeling a certain way. So, like, is it an overwhelming sadness? Because I did realize, since I started taking what I've been taking, when you do something that you're scared of, you'll know what your core beliefs are, because they'll pop, right? Like, because that's the fear part of it. And so you're going to have them pop. And one of them that was popping when I went to take the meds was, do I have anger that I'm suppressing? And so am I going to take medication, and then the medication's going to make me not care, and then I'm just going to be this violent sociopath? There's one. By the way, I don't even get mad. I don't even raise my voice to people, but so it's obviously like one of them would be like, do I have an anger issue, or is it I'm scared that I might have an anger issue? Like, so I don't know what propagates that one. I don't know where that one comes from, but I do know that when I started taking medication, that was one of my biggest fears. And it's because I read the side effects, and some of them are agitation. And I'm like, so am I just going to like beat up people, And what's funny about it is I had a nightmare one night, and I had got mad at somebody at a movie theater. I don't know if I told you this dream, but anyways, I got mad at somebody at a movie theater, and I was like shaking. It was a dream. And I woke up, but in my dream, I had already calmed down and not necessarily apologized, but like started talking to him about something else. So I got very angry. I came down, and then I woke up, and my heart was pounding, and I was like, holy crap, like, am I some crazed anger man, And so, I mean, obviously, I stopped my narrative, but if I would have kept my narrative going, it would have been like, am I going to just walk down the street and beat somebody? It's like 5 a.m, like there's going to be anybody up. But that's kind of what it was like. And so I was super worried about it. But then I, self-talk, which wasn't even really self-talk. It was like, dude, you calmed down in your dream. Like, if you can calm down in your dream and now you're awake, it's just like any other emotion. It's going to go away. And it did. And that was the last time I've had anger, but even though it was like in a dream. And I don't know if I had it because I was worried about having it with the medication.
Right.
So obviously it could just be an anxiety thing, because anxiety is just an anticipation of a perceived fear.
Right.
So am I worried about my anger? No. But was I worried about it when I first took the pill? Yes. I was worried that I would just be angry. I don't know if I've ever truly gotten over that. When I was doing drugs or whatever, that it ruined my brain. I don't know if I'm 100% over that, because I don't like to take drugs, because I'm worried that my brain isn't going to respond well to drugs. Another one is, and this one goes along with the same exact one, is the fear of being overly angry. There again, I haven't been angry, and I've been taking this stuff for over a month, almost 2 months now, right? I think it's on July 4th, it'll be 2 months or whatever. But anyways, is depression. Like, am I so sad as a human that, if I take these pills, it's going to make me sadder and I'm going to kill myself or something? And it's like, what on earth? I don't even have negative thoughts like that. And it's not from the meds. I'm worried that the meds are going to make me do that. There again, because I read symptoms, right? Or side effects. So any of the side effects, I read them and I'm like, holy crap, I'm gonna have all this. But I would assume that those are somewhere in a belief system. And so I think my biggest belief with all those, and see, like I said, if we keep hitting those, we can go one deeper to a deeper belief, and that's that I don't trust my emotions. Right? Like, I don't trust them, as in, if I get anxious, it's permanent. If I get happy, it's permanent. If I get mad, it's permanent. If I get sad, it's permanent. When I can't remember what I did. Anyways, when I first started with you guys, it was like 2012 or something. And I called up, and there was a girl named Reagan, and I talked to Reagan on the phone, and Reagan said she'd take care of everything. And then she had Rob get a hold of me, and then Rob started coming and seeing me. And within a few months, I had been like Reagan and your job, your place there, got me put on disability. So I wasn't on that at first. So when I first was seeing Rob, I was paying for the services and stuff out of pocket. And then I ended up getting put on disability. And I remember it very well because for some reason I checked my bank account and there was like $3,000 or $4,000 in there. And I was like, why is there money in there? And then I saw there were some weird letters by it. So I Googled what those letters meant, and it said that it's usually from Social Security. So what had happened is Social Security had paid me back pay from when I applied. And so it was like 4 months or 5 months that it took for them to get me on there or whatever. But anyways, I was excited because I knew that I could get services, and start getting better, because that's all I really cared about at the time. And so it made me very happy. Like I was very excited, and it's that same thing. So I was very so I got happy, I got excited, but then it gave me anxiety. So that's how I know my anxiety is kind of like a tool. And it's like, so I was happy and I worried that I was going to be happy forever, like this weirdo that was just giddy, and then and so like I said, I think that the belief, and we'd have to find the right words for it to where it makes better sense to me, but is that I don't trust that my emotions are going to change, or that I control my emotions, or for some reason not for some reason, I know exactly what the reason is, but basically I got trauma and I was stuck in an emotion for a very long time, the fear. And so therefore, I think ever since then, I've been worried about feeling anything. I'd rather be a Eeyore, or I would have, not now. Like I said, this is kind of pre deep therapy, but I was Eeyore, like don't get too high, don't get too low, just stay in the dysthymic area, just stay right there, just a step below what you would consider normal, because it's controllable right there. I didn't even like to exercise because exercise would make me feel better. It's like, well, I don't want to feel better, because if I feel better, then if I feel worse, then I won't, then I'll notice it. So if I don't do anything at all, I will be right here the whole time, and it's good. And then I lost 20 years of my life that way.
So you kind of did the same thing with your emotions that you did with your safety zone. It's like, if I'm in this area,
yeah,
I know what to expect. It's good.
Yeah.
So you did it with your emotions too.
Yeah, for a long time. And now, it's like it's cool to have fun, and like, so now it's like I'll be in the front room or something, and some music will come on or something, and I'll just start dancing because I don't care, like, good, I'm glad I feel this way. And then anytime I have an emotion, I'll say, hey, this is good. I'm supposed to feel different. But I'm still, there again, I was like, but if I take these pills, drugs, quote unquote, then it's going to stick me into an emotion. I'm not going to be able to choose my emotion. It's just, it's going to control me. And that's why it took me I did it fast and slow at the same time, right? Like I said, that first day I just put a pill in my mouth, took it out. Okay, I didn't go crazy. So then later that day I scraped some of the pill on my tooth, and like it just slowly progressed until now I take 100 milligrams or whatever. And I have a meeting with her on Monday. And then I don't know what she's going to want to do after that.
I don't know. I don't know her side of anything. I mean, I know basic classes and medications and things because they teach you that, but if you're not going for what she does, that's about the extent of what you learn about meds.
Yeah, that's all right. She just said it's better to be on 100 for anxiety and 50 for depression. And so we got me up to 100 pretty quick.
Yeah. So you said faster than you expected to be able to get yourself to it. Last week
yeah.
You kind of upped it for one day more than you had originally planned.
Yeah, at first I was like, screw it, and then I had people around, so I said I'll just take a more amount, and then I noticed that I didn't get very many side effects, so the next day I just said screw it, and I just took a full pill. So I was going to go up by little quarter increments, quarters of a 25, not quarters of a, so eighths of 100 or of a 50. But we're where she wanted me, and I got there probably faster than she thought I was going to. But this Sunday will be 2 weeks, and then so when I talk to her, it'll have been 3 weeks since I talked to her, but 2 weeks that I've been on the full 100. So I went from 50 to 100 in a week, but I also went from 0 to 50 in a week. So
2 times in a row, she'll probably be surprised.
I'm sure. But
she said there was probably 0% chance that she thought you would have actually took it.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I was very worried about like sex, like sexual stuff with it, and it's funny because I can tell that it's more mental than anything else because I'm scared that it could happen, and so therefore I don't want you're going to see the common thing here is I'm scared of what could happen, and so when I go out with, we're not talking about sex anymore, but when I go out with Brett, I don't push further because of what could happen. So now let's bring it back to sex. I don't want to have sex because I'm worried that there could be issue.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I do it and everything works, because that's the biggest worry, right? It's like, okay, it's not going to work. Okay, now it's working. So everything's functioning as it should. Okay, now the next problem could be like a climax. And so it's like, oh, I won't be able to, I don't know, but it feels like I'm going to. Okay, I did. Hey, everything works. And then it's a funny thing because when I first did it, it's like when I was trying to get up to 50 milligrams is what I mean by first did it. So I was very worried, and then it worked, and then everything worked. Everything was normal, and then but I did notice it feels a little different. Not the actual thing, but the climax part feels different. Like there's a different, it's not the same as it used to be, which is fine. It's just different. It's still there though. Anyways, where I'm going with it is it's like, okay, it worked. And so therefore I could not be in my head about it anymore. And then I noticed what happened is I actually was more, well, I don't know if more is a better word. I was hornier all the time there. I don't know how else you would say that. Like, I mean, like and then I was like, holy crap, like this, like, I don't know if it's the pill or if it's just my anxiety probably kept my sex drive under control as it was anyways, because remember how we said I don't like to do a lot, like, and so being on the meds, and then my sex drive was just like off the chain because I wasn't worried about it anymore. And then so when I upped it, because I was talking to her and she's like, yeah, there is definitely a possibility by taking more that now we could find, sexual problems. And so I was like, oh crap, so now I was worried about it. Then I got up to 100 and then I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. So test drove it and it worked. And I test drove it a couple times. And then the rest is rock and roll history, because now I feel like I have like a very strong libido again. So it's like, ugh, but I can't, and I can see how that would work with the exposure. It's like, hey, once I'm out, then it's like I could just explode, like just blah. But I have to get through that to, like, I don't want to touch that. I don't want to go there. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get, because that's my big problem is, so whatever that belief is that you keep hearing me say over and over, that's also a belief. So whatever this is, because we've been talking about it for the whole time, right? It's I don't want to feel emotion up or down. I don't want to push into anything. And there again with the sex, but it's the same thing, is I don't want to push into it because what if there's something wrong? So it's almost like what if something goes wrong while I'm out, or what if, so whatever what if is, other than, to me it sounds like the definition of what anxiety is what if thinking, period. But
right.
So anyways, whatever's driving that belief would be a really good one to hammer out.
Right. Gotta start with figuring out how to word it.
Yeah.
So that I don't want to find out. It's like being in the, it's almost like you, even though the what if is what's causes the anxiety, until you get through the what if is more comfortable than the actually going into the what if.
Right. Yeah, until you pound it out and then realize that, oh,
I don't know if that was English, but I think you got what I said.
Oh, I'm right there with you. I'm one of the 1% that can keep up.
Is it only 1%?
I'm teasing.
I don't know what percent it is. Unfortunately, you get me in the caffeine is wearing off, and sometimes words don't come out what I mean to say time of day. I get it out, it just doesn't always sound like it did in my head. So I don't know how I'll word that one long term. Right now I just wrote that I don't want to find out.
Right, which is fine. Well, I mean, we can
don't want to find out something is wrong. That's what I wrote for now, so that I'll remember it. But I might eventually come up with a better.
Like, what would it mean if I found out?
Yeah.
And that, that's how I used to pound into this stuff before, was like, okay, what does it mean if I did find out?
Yeah.
What,
actually answering the what if.
Yeah, and then you try to go deeper, and the whole point is to get a little uncomfortable with it, because then you're inside it. You can't change a file. It's kind of like on your computer right now. If you go open if you just click on a PDF file, no matter how many times you read it, it's not going to change. It's just always that PDF file. The only way to change it is to go in and open it up. And once you open it, you can rearrange it and then save it and close it, and then it's different. And that's how core beliefs work. You have to get into them. You have to open it up a little bit.
Right. That's a good visual. Wish I had come up with it, but I didn't. You did. Or someone else told it to you, I don't know.
I've come up with a lot of stuff over the last 7 years. Yeah, no, that's how I describe it. I have other friends that say it a little bit different or whatever. Little different. I like to say things my own way if I can.
That's fair.
If
Be original.
If I can. Sometimes I can't though.
It looks like the day turned out. I haven't been outside since this morning. It looks good.
It's just like it feels like it's about 73 maybe with a slight breeze, and it's just there's cloud cover, but it's not dark clouds. They're just white fluffy and just blue skies, and I don't think you could complain about this. This is weather you could get some stuff done in.
Right. Now it just better stay that way because I keep getting home and then it's a different day. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, plus not to mention summer's coming. Well, summer started yesterday, and it's going to be like the days are going to start getting shorter, but it's going to get hot for the next 2 months. Hot.
You know?
Maybe.
But today we had a frost warning, so I didn't actually see any frost, but I also wasn't up early. I got up at like 8. I didn't see any frost.
There was no frost.
They were just warning. Well, the low was like 36, so if there was precipitation, I guess it could have gotten a little frosty.
Right. Yeah, I accidentally woke up at 3:00 in the morning and stayed up till like 5.
Oh.
So.
You still waking up in the middle of the night a lot? That same thing that was happening?
Well, last night I kind of fell asleep in the front room, so.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't go by what's happening, But I'm not worried about it at all, so.
No. You just said you've been waking up like, if I got this burst of energy at a different time of day, it'd be helpful.
Right, and I was going to change my pill time. And I actually started, I was like, should I go backwards with it or forwards with it? But then I was like, maybe I should wait until I'm on the one for like 2 or 3 weeks and see what actually happens, then change it. And the only reason I'm saying that is like, what if it gives me a bunch of energy and then I take it at night before I go to bed and I can't sleep, and then my whole, there again, it's what if.
What if
I have a very active imagination. Like, I probably should write books or something.
That'd probably be a better use of the imagination.
Right. Than keeping me homebound or whatever.
What ifing yourself to death? It's probably not the best use of the imagination. Do you anything creative outlet wise?
I have my YouTube channel, but I'm no, I don't do anything creative at all. So I have my YouTube channel, which is based on professional wrestling and watching it. And so there's that. So there's nothing creative. I can say what I would do different than them, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. And then I like to work on things, motorcycles and things, but I don't build things.
Right.
I do it out of wood or whatever, but I don't build motorcycles, like take scrap metal and weld it together and make a Harley or something out of it. But so I don't have a lot of imagination. I do have a lot of imagination, but it usually is just about self-harm. Harm as in keeping me locked up, not harm as in anything.
Harmful to the psyche.
Yeah. But
it's unfortunate the imagination doesn't come out in the helpful ways, like being creative.
Yeah, like I said, I come up with some pretty creative things, but what I like to do is take somebody else's idea and make it better. I know that's kind of like a cheating way to look at it, but like I don't like to follow step-by-step instructions on how to build things. I want to look at it and then I build it the best way that I can. You know, it's different if it's like a dresser that's pre-made. I'm talking about like, you know, building a fence or something. It's like, well, wouldn't it be easier if I just did this? Or how, you know. So I have a very lazy brain when it comes to things, but it's also very good because it's like, what's the easiest way that this can possibly be done?
The whole work smarter, not harder thing.
Yeah. Like, I'll give you an example. So Brett has a flagpole, and he didn't change the cord, and it broke. And it's concreted in the ground. So how does he put a new cord onto his flagpole? Without getting a lift, you know, like those things, like tree lift, you know, or they work on power lines lift, without renting one of those or borrowing one. And so I told him today, I was like, dude, I came up with it. I spent about an hour and a half in my head with this problem and fixed his problem. I invented a pole. It's not, I didn't invent a pole because poles are already been invented, but just 2 pieces of PVC pipe put together, run fishing line up through it. On the end of the fishing line, put some sinkers on it, you know, like if you're fishing, and then lift that up there and feed that washer or the fishing sinker through the hole, and then let it drop because it'll have weight, so it'll pull it down towards the ground. And once it gets down to the ground, all you have to do is tie your new rope to that and pull it back through, and now you've got your rope. It's done. And he's like, holy you came up with that? I was like, dude, I came up with that at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
I guess if you're gonna be awake, it might as well be
productive.
Now you have to find out if he actually does it and it works. Then you'll know if the idea was successful in practice. Depends on how motivated he is to actually go out and fix it.
Right. He's going out on the river, so he'll be gone for a week.
Oh. He's going to be on the river for a week?
Yeah, they go up and they float the salmon, or no, the snake river, and they float it. But they float the same river over and over. So they'll have a campground, and then they go up, and then they go by, and then they just do the same run, or like 2 or 3 different runs the whole time.
Gotcha. Didn't know he was so adventurous.
Yeah, he's an outdoor everything. He hunts, fishes. He's got horses.
Gotcha. See, I never really know the community staff that much or what they're up to because they're in the office so rarely that
Yeah.
I'll kind of see them on my lunch break and things like that. So, did not know he was an outdoorsy one. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
I did rafting. I think it was on part of the Payette River once or twice, but I didn't have to do anything. It was like we had this group that would take all of us out that worked at the children's home, so it was like all of the kids and then the staff, and they were the ones doing all the like navigating and, you know, making sure you didn't hit obstacles. So I just had to sit in the raft boat.
Right.
So I don't know if I'd know how to like go out and do it myself, but I mean it was fun enough when someone else has to do all that part. No one hit anything or had any. Well, I thought all the rivers and stuff were like faster and higher this year.
They're definitely higher. I don't know about faster, but they're definitely higher because of all the flooding.
I just know the one like can't remember what it was called. They did it over this last weekend, I think, and it was something that I guess we sometimes have a booth at, some floating. I think I deleted the email.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called. It was, the Pokey Paddle event.
Oh, down here, yeah.
But I guess they didn't actually do any facilitating floating or transportation because the water levels were still considered high and dangerous. So I don't know what they did at the event instead, but I guess usually that's a part of it. But if he does that every year, he probably has a better mastery of.
Yeah, he's pretty dang good at it.
So he probably doesn't have to consider those things as much as like when we review all these beginner people at it wanting to float it. What do you suppose is your small achievable goal this week? Last week you said you wanted to get out with your daughter while she was here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've got, she'll be here till Sunday, Monday, somewhere in there. And then,
She's still there? She didn't go on her other trip yet? Or
no, she's not going till the 12th.
Okay.
But she's not going to be here till the 12th. She's leaving before that. But anyways, yeah, so, and then I have Renee at 3 on Monday. And then I don't know what I'll do next week because I'll literally be here all by myself again, you know.
Mm.
And then I don't have Brett at all either.
I guess your small achievable goal might be finding some things to do with your time.
Right. Yeah, actually getting back on the horse. So I was doing a lot of stuff before I started taking pills. And right when I started taking those, I stopped everything because I just kind of wanted to concentrate on just that. And so there is a shit ton of stuff for me to do.
Maybe pick one of those things and actually get back on it.
Yeah, just jump back on the horse. I was going to start exercising again and stuff. I stopped exercising when my dog died in February. I just haven't got back into it. I gave myself some time to grieve and then I was going to start in May, but then I started meds, you know, so. And like I said, I haven't done anything. The only thing I've done besides med, you know, like is eat. You know, like eat, sleep, and take meds. Like I said, you know, Brett's like, so what do you think we need to do to get you going? And I'm like, because I haven't told him I'm taking meds, you know, and I'm like, dude, I think everything's gonna just happen pretty quick, you know, like, but I didn't want to tell him that, but because I'm just like, I'm waiting until I get into the 6th week, you know, that 6th week is, you know, mid-July or whatever. Because I mean, I'm 2 weeks in Sunday.
Right.
And so, you know, whatever 4 weeks after that is. So the end of July, you know, I should have 6 weeks at 100. You know, I would assume that I'll hit the ground running or whatever's going to happen. But I'm not trying to not do anything until then. I'm just saying that, like, you know, don't tell me it takes 6 to 8 weeks to work and then not expect me to take 6 to 8 weeks for it to work. So.
Right. Maybe you need to stay away from the side effect pamphlets, though.
Hey, you leave me alone.
I feel like that just creates a bunch of new, like, oh, this could happen, this could happen.
Right. So I
don't ever look at those unless I am experiencing what I think is a side effect, and then I might look at it and be like,
right.
oh.
Yeah. No. I trust me. I read those side effects. So what I have learned with anxiety, you know, like I said, I'm not like I used to be. Like if this was the old me, this wouldn't be happening. I wouldn't have taken pills. But what I do with my anxiety, what's me, the best way to describe it is like, oh, that makes me feel uncomfortable. Let me do it about 100 times. You know, like, and so when I read the side effects, I was like, oh, dude, I don't know. So I read them again and again and again and again until it was like, okay, the side effects aren't bugging me reading them anymore. So now let's put that pill in your mouth and see what happens, you know. And it's like, oh, nothing happened. We'll put it in there again. Nothing happened. Okay, now scrape off some of it.
So reading the side effect list created some of the worries, but at the same time, it also eventually you faced it enough times that you were willing to try it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there was nothing on there that was like, hey, by the way, you're going to just die. Like that one wasn't really on there. It kind of is. They have like a serotonin poisoning that you can get that can kill you, but you hallucinate first. So I was just waiting to hallucinate.
They have to put every little thing that's ever happened to a person ever.
Right.
Sometimes it could have been like had all these other underlying things, and that doesn't make it in the paperwork. So statistically, I've never actually read a real case of that happening. It must be in a very rare percentage because.
Yeah, like if I took like 4 of them or something, I could get like a serotonin poisoning and
yeah, maybe don't do that.
Well, I wasn't planning on
it. Okay. Well, I hope that you're able to get back into doing some things, whatever you decide it is, exercise or
yeah, you know, I'm
just doing something.
I'm definitely planning on it, so.
And who knows, the weather might actually cooperate. I don't know.
Yeah, nobody likes the weather.
I mean, I actually, when I took my walk this morning, I thought it was like, I was expecting it to be worse based on how I was reading, like, frost advisory and all that stuff. I thought it would be colder. And it was only like 40 something, but it wasn't like windy and stuff, so it didn't feel. I mean, like, I ended up being like, oh, I didn't even need my sweater.
Yeah, I noticed that I got cold last night on the chair because I was sleeping in a chair, and I just had a really little blanket on, like a little fleece blanket. And I noticed I was getting cold, and I was like, why am I cold? Like, I don't get cold. Yeah. And then you just told me how cold it got last night. I was like, holy crap. No wonder I got cold.
Yeah. They just decided to see if we missed winter.
Right.
I saw some pictures of some places that had gotten, like, a layer of frost and hail and stuff. Not here, but, like, the other day there was a picture someone posted from McCall that had, like, everything just covered in, like, a layer of hail.
Oh, yeah.
So there's some places getting some interesting weather this year. Well, I hope that you're able to do some of those things, and I'll hear about it next week if you were able to, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is next week? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's still this month.
Yeah, but it's the last week of this month.
Yeah.
Because first is a Saturday.
Saturday.
Yep.
I have a 3-hour pay-per-view that day I have to do.
Oh.
Should be a fun one.
Yeah. And it's kind of way in advance, so I'll remind you much closer. But I am going to not be working the week of July 18th. I guess it starts on the 17th. I might open up like my Monday or my Friday that week for anyone that wants to reschedule. I haven't quite decided that yet, but like the normal Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I will for sure not be in because my sister is coming into town.
Okay, so that is, so the 18th. So you would miss the 20th with me?
Yeah, I wouldn't be working. I'm taking the 18th and 19th and the 20th off, and so I haven't decided if I'm going to see if I have openings to reschedule people on Monday or Friday. Like, if you're one that would want to reschedule, I can let you know if something opens up to reschedule. Otherwise, I'm just planning on spending that week with family.
Okay, that's fine.
My sister lives in Boise, and I only see her for like a smattering of days throughout the summer. And her last one, I worked the whole time, and I was like, this time I'm not working the whole time. Like, I want to actually enjoy your visit and not be working.
Makes a lot of sense.
So just giving you a heads up on that. I'll remind you when it's closer to, but I'm just kind of letting people know so that no one can be like, oh, she's surprised disappeared.
Boom.
Okay.
No.
I'll see you next week then.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And we're done. I appreciate you guys if you guys end up watching all that with me. I will upload this and post it. Leave comments if you guys are still around or whatnot. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching.